Good space time, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Citizen Web3 podcast, a source for educational insights into the Web3 universe and your connection hub to the people that turn code and dreams into decentralized applications and reality. Today, we are joined by Dilan from Vvlidator. We touch on our usual topics, how to and why validate, why Web3, and the fact that you don't choose a validator's life, it chooses you. We talk about Web3 vibes, the secret to community building, freedom, the power of luck, and mission goals. And we also discuss education, open source, remote teams, decentralization, and infrastructure. I want people to understand that there are real people behind those operators or machines or nodes.
When I discovered what's happening on Web3, everyone is remote working, the mood is so different, etc. I said myself that I should try to go into Web3.
At which point does education become dangerous?
It's hard to build a team, a completely remote team. It's like all based in luck. You have to be at the right place at the right time.
Hi everybody, and welcome to our updated and new Citizen Web3 podcast. And today I have Dilan from the Vvlidator with me today. Dilan, hi, how are you, man? Welcome to the show.
Hi everyone, hi Citizen Cosmos listener, thanks for having me.
You see, you went with Citizen Cosmos and we are like Citizen Web3 now. That's it. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm kidding. But we have got updated, so it is now not just Citizen Cosmos listeners, but also Citizen Web3 listeners. I'm sure it's the same people, but, let's pretend that it's not. So, man, how are you this fine day? How is your weather? Let's do some chit chat. How's your weather? How's everything? How's life?
Everything is doing good, hopefully. The weather is good where I'm right now. Currently in Istanbul, weather is fine. All people are fine. Can't complain, to be honest.
Fantastic. I actually with you on that. Where I'm based, the weather is lovely as well. So it also always helps. I think now it always helps to kind of wake up in a lighter mood, or do more tasks. I don't know about you. It does help me. What about you? Does it help you?
It helped me a lot. For example, every time that I'm seeing a shiny day, it's like help me works better. A lot of more implication. It's like changing my mood in general. So yeah, I think the weather is so important from productivity and work. Totally.
Nice. Now that we got the chit chat out the way and all the weather out the way, let's talk some blockchain. So, Dilan, I said Dilan Imperator, and I always introduce guests in a very short way because I always ask guests to introduce themselves. Can I ask you to introduce yourself? What do you do? What do you currently, Imperator here, but what do you guys do? Anything you want to mention about yourself? Anything you would like people to know about Dilan?
Of course. So I'm the founder of Imperator.co Validator. I have originally a skill set in data engineering. We do a lot of stuff at Imperator, first of all, for sure, doing validation on different blockchain, mainly on the Cosmos ecosystem, but we start to expand to others. We start to work with a lot of new institutions, to try to bring them to the ecosystem. So we help them onboard into what we are doing. We help them in the infrastructure side. We do a lot of infrastructure as a service. We are also a relayer for the ecosystem. We help a lot the community in different ways. That can be via tutorials, video. We like to bring people into the lights and make them aware of what's happening. We also do a lot of, how can I say that? We do a lot of weekly news to help everyone to be updated on what's happening. So we try to be everywhere and doing different kind of jobs. This is not simply validators, but a lot of community services too.
I like that you did the intro that way. I'll tell you why. The focus of Citizen Cosmos has always been people. and understanding people. And the focus of Citizen Web3 is more validators. And specifically, I've been doing this for years, and I've got interviews with validators for years and years. But I want people to understand that there are real people behind those operators or machines or nodes. And I want people to really grasp their story and either connect with them or not, because they are currently the biggest players in the space. And, we've been seeing this since roughly the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. Pretty much every project is somehow related to a validator. We can talk about Lido right here, or P2P, or we can give other examples of Stakefish, but, those are big examples. Regardless of that, even chains are here and there built by somehow person came out. So I want people to know that. So the next question is to you is why? Why Web3? Why validate? Why did you wake up one day and were like, okay, man, I'm going to create a validator. I'm going to call it Imperator Core, and I'm going to let people be more in light. Is that, I believe you said. So why?
So this is a long story, to be honest.
Let's go.
I didn't woke up on the morning and say that I will be a validator. Everything started because I guess everyone else, I was investing in crypto, trying um, to earn some more money. So at this time I discovered the project that was Akash, Akash Network, and I met a French guy, that was validating on this chain. So I started to discuss with him and try to understand what was his goal, what was he's trying to do basically. And I love the daily job, the fact that you should have to bring some validators to you to keep growth, etc. So I said, okay, I'm a data engineer. I have skills in DevOps, so why not launching my own validators? So that what I did, I started on the keychain and started to talk with the French community. And there's a huge like community around this kind of project, with lovely people that you want to help. So my want to help community started from this community, I would say, because I just wanted to help them, staking, understand what we are doing, what's the goal of staking, how they can bring value to the ecosystem, etc. I guess it's just a question of randomness. I did not choose to be a validator, or whatever. It just comes slowly like this.
Let me then annoy you a little bit more into that direction. You started the story already at the point where you already trading crypto and you already had DevOps skill. Let's go a little bit backwards. Why Web3? Why? And the reason I'm asking that is because, I'm going to give you a little bit of a directional hint to where I'm trying to take you here. I had guests that, come and tell me it's for the money. I had guests and tell me I want to change the world. I had guests and tell me, well, I started to study that, and that's something I got into. Now, I hear in your story that you already kind of had DevOps skills, but then you said, well, I was already trading crypto, so that means you already, and the way you said it sounded kind of that you did it. So I was like, okay, so why Web3? What drew you initially to that space? Was it the decentralization ideas or something else?
Okay, I got it. So I guess my want to start on Web3 was because I'm originally from Web2, if I can say. I used to work in normal companies, with old rules, if I can say. When I discovered what's happening on Web3, everyone is remote working, the mood is so different, etc. I said myself that I should try to go into Web3. And man, when you test the Web3, it's impossible to go back to Web2. And that's why I'm here right now, trying to shape the future in Web3.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, I like that. Once you go Web3, you never go Web2. I like that. Okay. What is the bigger, again, you kind of use the words putting people in light in different variations a couple of times. I like that. Keeping people educated or keeping people informed, maybe even. That's the best way to say it. But what is the goal, if imperator, not every validator has one for certain, but there is like a bigger mission goal that you see as a founder for the validator?
I think it's to make people's life easier, not only the community but even the builders. So imagine you're trying to build something and you need awareness. It's hard for you to bring your product to the community and make them know what's happening there. It can be sometimes too tricky, too technical, or whatever for the community. So what we aim to do here for the builders is like just simplify what they are doing and explain to the community so it can benefit everyone's here. That's the one of the main goal basically.
It's a very big, broad, but it's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very big goal, because I gotta be honest with you, I've been in the same business for a while, and geez, it's not easy, right? I mean, it's very difficult to have values and to be in the educational business, especially in the free educational business. People find it, at least for me, I don't know how it's for you, and this is, I guess, not a question, but it's like a discussion kind of thing, an opinion I'm throwing here. Like, I found it very, I don't know about you, but I found it very difficult to do free education and to have personal values and to make a product out of it, because it just doesn't mix for other people by the looks of it. Is that the same experience you had?
I understand what you mean. The business is not oriented to education. What I'm trying to say here is like kind of a bet. You're betting that the education that you are doing will like bring you more value after that. So, for example, I'm not telling people come delegate to Imperator. We want to be bigger, etc. Of course, the goal is to be bigger and be one of the biggest validator. Uh, but to come to this level you need to bring value, and how we can do that is like first by educating people, make you like know in the world, if I can say, by doing educational job. Of course this is not the main stuff that we are doing, but it's like part of our jobs.
Let me ask you a bit of a controversial, not controversial, but a little bit of a controversial question. At which point, it's something we've been discussing with people online lately on Twitter with a few people. At which point, in your opinion, does, and I understand education here is not the main business, I just slightly shifting focus here. At which point does education become dangerous? Can it become dangerous? General.
I think it's at the point where you give financial advices. For example, you should buy this token, delegate, etc. At this level, you take the responsibility, and it can be dangerous because you can tend like people to lose money, or having bad habits on investments, etc. So at this level it can be very tricky and dangerous. That's why we have, like in France, on other jurisdiction, some protection for the user, where it's like impossible for you to shield tokens. And that's why on the education level you have to bring awareness about the risk involved when investing, staking, or whatever.
Sorry, as we speak, I make notes, so sometimes it takes me a second to unmute. But here is an interesting thing, and I'm sorry I'm digging, but I like playing devil's advocate a little bit. So let's go that way. I mean, you were talking about risk right now, right, and about shielding and risk for the user. But then just before we spoke about Web3 and the whole freedom of Web3. Where do we draw the line between, okay, I'm trying to do compliance and protect. Now, I'm personally not in that direction, but I know a lot of people do believe that, and that's okay in my opinion. It's fine. Everybody has their own opinions. But your opinion, where do you draw the line between, okay, this is Web3 and it's free for all, and if I want to shill, I don't know, shit coin or whatever it's called, to people, and I think it's good, then, well, it's Web3 and people listen to me. Or I say, okay, I'm an educator or whatever, for whatever reason I want to be educating people. I cannot be risking people's, let's do compliance, or whatever, not compliance, sorry, but let's do some restrictions here. Like, where do we draw the line?
So in my opinion, it's very, very hard to draw this line in the Web3. But hopefully we can see some regulation happening slowly, because the way you are saying that it's look like Web3 is the Far West, right? Where everyone's bring his own value, he owns rules. But I don't think this is the right thing to do. Web3, like I said, is like kind of um, being free, etc. But in the way where you are sharing tokens and taking risk, etc., is difficult. So I don't have the right answer here, to be honest. This
There
is
is no right
a
answer.
tricky question.
There is no
Yeah,
right answer, for sure.
exactly.
Here, my goal is just to get as much as I can of your opinion. So for sure, there is no right answer. I know that. I mean, because, for example, I don't think, regulations is correct, but then you think it's okay. And in my opinion, that's perfectly fine. It's just an opinion. And I've had guests who are like really, really strictly pro that and guests who are really strictly anti that. And it's really cool to try to find in conversation and a dialogue that balance where I think then people who build, which is like yourself, go on and actually do, and it's cool. It opens horizons, in my opinion.
Totally, we need a balance between both sides. We can take the good parts of each part, for sure. But being free in the Web3 as we are speaking is not the right to take risk, if I can say. So that's why you have to take both good parts.
Let's talk a little bit about more like down to earth, I guess, topics for a validator. And the kind of typical questions I usually go into, which I really want people who don't validate yet or are far from it and are interested to understand, is some simple topics. Some of them we can go more, some less. Let's try. So let's talk about like two of the most basic things, in my opinion. One, you guys validate quite a lot of, not a lot, but quite a big amount of networks. How on earth do you guys select chains? What is your criteria? There are maybe some projects right now listening to this, building like up, maybe they want Imperator to be in the list. How do you select?
So we do due diligence, right? We have different steps to analyze a project. It can be, digging into the team members, looking at the white papers about the utility of the project. And this is like kind of normal process where you evaluate the project you are going to be involved in. And if it's like, okay, then we happy to join. And if we see any red flags or any controversies, we just prefer to avoid the project and not taking any risk for us or even for the delegators.
I'm gonna annoy you. Everybody says that. If we see red flags, what are those red flags, man? Let's talk about them. Everybody says, if we see red flags, that's it. Which red flags?
Yeah, well, I can tell you some red flags
Give me
that we are
examples.
looking for. For example, team members first. We need to have like track records about what they did previously, if they have been involved in any project, etc. So if you're coming with a totally anonymous project with anonymous people, will definitely not join your validator set. Another red flag can be a fork of another project. We already have seen this kind of behavior where people were forking also project like Evmos and trying to brand as a new project and new utilities, etc. These are kind of red flags. Another one that I'm seeing is like projects that are not open source, where you can see the code or any tools. For example, any code on GitHub or public that is not public are a red flag too.
The open source thing for me is been a very, very big obstacle. I'm very much an open source obsessed person. And it doesn't say that I only use open source. Right now, we are not using an open source platform to record this. Unfortunately, that's what's available in the market these days. But yeah, I totally understand that. And I have over the last, I started my first node, not to do with this project, but my first node, it was a Bitchers-like project in 2016, Witness node. So it's been a while. And I can tell you that the amount of projects are rejected just because they don't want to open code up. It's like, no, we're not going to do it. But why not? what's the point? And I don't get it. I'm not understanding what people. What do you think they're scared of?
People that are hiding their code, you mean? I think they are afraid of I don't know, copy pasta. People like
But it
stealing
doesn't make
code in the
sense, does
orange.
it?
It depends. In some cases, you want to have ownership of your code and don't want to be public, right? So you have the exclusivity of your code. I don't know if you are building a totally new product. You don't want to be copy or whatever. So in some cases, it makes sense. I can understand this. But if you at the same time an anonymous guy with no track record, etc., it can be at this level a red flag.
I understand. I understand. Dylan, what about the team? I mean, personally, from what I'm hearing, you're from Western Europe. Now you live in on the edge of Asia and then Europe, so to speak. So the reason I'm saying this is because it's not always easy to move to a different place, and even though we are living in an online world, I know it's not as easy. So how did you build your team? And what does the team, if you want to talk about it, of course, what does it look now? And maybe you're looking for people. You can feel free to shout out if you are looking for people.
Sure. So right now we are four. I'm based in Istanbul. Two others are in France, and the last one is in Vietnam. Um, so it's hard to build a team, a completely remote team, because it depends on the teammate preferences. What I want to say is like my co-founder Ibrar. He's like uh, a friend from my engineering school initially, and this is a guy that don't like to work remote. He prefer see people directly at the office or whatever. So for him, it's hard to deal with this. But in comparison with myself, for example, I really love working from home for different places or whatever. Uh, so it's hard to build a team efficient in remote. So it's like a lot of due diligence. You have to be sure when hiring that the guy is like efficient working remotely, asynchronously, and from different places, time zone or whatever. So I would say that it's very hard to build this. And I would like to add that we are currently looking for a BD. So if you are interested, get in touch. But you have to love work remotely and asynchronously because we don't have any office.
We might think about it, but we don't have it. I like it. And I'm joking, of course. And I totally understand. We are the same. Like, I mean, no, I don't like working from office, so we're totally the same. By the way, you mentioned Marcel. I know Posthuman is based in Marseille. He was actually a guest for a week in my house a couple of weeks ago. He came to visit us. We are good friends from many years ago. A crazy guy like myself. I love him for that. And so here's the next question, because we kind of talked about it. What do you think about distributed, decentralized validators? Is that a thing? Is that even possible? Some people, some teams like these guys that try to do, the tools are still not there, of course. And yeah, it's a try, it's an experiment, it's cool. But what's your personal opinion about, should validators stay for now centralized entities as they are actually, and let's not lie to ourselves, or should validators strive towards decentralization? I have no idea how that could look, but whatever.
So I would not say that validators are centralized right now. We have like ton of different entities running all around the world. Um, But I think the most important part in the decentralization of validators is where they run their infrastructure. We have an issue nowadays is like all the validators are running their nodes around Europe, between Germany, France, all of this zone. But we need decentralization in this way where we have to run nodes from all around the world. So if you are someone from, I don't know, Australia, you're a validator from Australia and run a node from Germany, it's kind of problematic for me. For the sake of the decentralization, please run your node also in Australia so we can have a decentralization all around the world. But it's easy to say that, but harder to apply because most of the validators are around Europe. Some project needs to have low latency blocks, so they want all validator to be close to them, right? So what people used to do is to run nodes from Germany, from Central Europe. So it's kind of hard. But in terms of entities, I think we're doing good. Uh, I've never seen, for example, validators from a big institution like a state or whatever. So we're still good at this stage where many node operators are either a small team or a single person, but from around the world.
By the way, I can correct, not correct, but I can help you on that. There are teams running validators. There are, for example, no Litecoin has some publishers running validators, big local publishers running validators. I know a few other chains. Like over the years that I spoke to, I was surprised. Sometimes, for example, we have Simple Staking. That is one big hell of a I mean, those guys like own, I mean, if you listen to their episode, these guys own the biggest data center in Malta currently. They are, and that's just Malta, so we have a lot of big teams. I mean, we have like P2P, for example, that run in a lot of projects are running, so I do totally though with you on that. And it's just, I'm actually curious because one of the things that currently we want to do, we are in the process, and I'm hopefully that process will be done within 2 months or so. That process is slowly been building up over the 4 months, and what I'm talking about is moving from cloud to bare metal, and this is the topic I want to talk with you about. I mean, if we're talking about decentralization, currently, what is your take on that, and what are your plans in that direction, if you have any at all, of course?
So bare metal servers, for me, is the right option to adopt for many reasons. First, just for the technical aspects, more reliable, more performant that cloud services. But for sure, yeah, it depends on the provider. But for me, having a mix of both is fine. Because as a node provider, node operator, you have to be flexible, and bare metal servers are not really flexible at all. You want to, for example, have a main node running somewhere and having the possibility to easily switch this node to in another place. So in this case, the cloud solution are better for sure.
In fact, I think, when I say, for example, we're moving to bare metal, for sure, we're going to be keeping at least 5 to 10% and on cloud. And that is not little, because there is quite a lot of things that we want to keep on cloud. One, for exactly that, for the amount being able to quickly, suddenly, if we need to change something. And sometimes it's even a security thing. You don't want to be keeping all your eggs in one basket, and as strange as it sounds. But do you currently run anything on bare metal or everything in the cloud? I'm curious.
We have both. We are using both.
Okay.
Totally.
Cool. What about, man, let's talk a little bit about, it's a kind of like topic that not everybody likes to talk about, so you can skip it if you want. So I will ask the question. You feel free to answer as you want. You said you have yourself and the co-founder. A lot of the teams I speak to, they have investors, and those investors sometimes can be silent, they can be participants, they can be partnered, but some of them, they can have expectations. Sometimes it can limit the validator to certain things. Sometimes it can open up horizons. What is your case, of course, if you want to talk about it?
So luckily and hopefully we don't have any investors. We are a self-funded entity. So my co-founder, I taking all the decision just by brainstorming and discussing. No other third party are involved on the decisions.
Cool. This is a good thing in my opinion, because it does limit to a lot of how to say, well, it has limitations, I guess, when you have investors, even though the money is there. What about you're going? Sorry, Dylan, you were gonna comment something. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
What about governance? Let's talk a little bit about governance. Another big topic for validators. There has recently, of course, you're mostly by the way, before we go to that, when we spoke to chains, are you currently completely in Cosmos? No, because you have nodes outside of Cosmos ecosystem already, right? As far as I'm aware.
Yes, that's correct. We're running on Ethereum and Sui.
And
Sui network.
Sui network. Okay. Oh, Sui. Okay. And how was your experience, by the way, after Cosmos to Ethereum? Before we talk about governance, I'm curious.
Oh, it's like totally catastrophic, man, because on Ethereum it's so hard. They made like everything so hard compared to Cosmos. On Cosmos you can delegate your stakes without any minimum amounts, easily on a no custodian way. So easy, to be honest. But when you go to Ethereum, everything start to be very harder.
What's the hardest thing? Is it, you mean the software is not there, the CLI is not properly ready? What do you mean?
So there are like different levels. The first part is like the software part. When we had to install the machine, the configuration, everything was so different, and you have to control everything, make sure that all the aspect of your infra is correct. What I can say, yeah. Also about the delegation part, if you want to get some delegators and bring some value to your node, the delegator has to have at least 32 Ethereum to stake, and if they want to do that, they should does it via a smart contract that you have to run, that you have to code, etc. Like everything goes so hard. Yeah.
Makes people though get into it. No, I mean, more. Is it a good thing in your opinion that it gets the validator to get more into the network or not?
No, I don't think it's like something good if you want to attract community and no tech people. Let's say you have like 1,000 of Ethereum to stake. You have to go over a smart contract that the team has built. You have no way to verify that the smart contract is safe or even audited. So you maybe have no confidence in staking. So you're losing also, yield on that. So I think it's really hard as a user to delegate. I'm talking about, the normal delegation, not liquid staking or whatever. The normal staking way is so hard and need improvement if you compare to Cosmos, where you can do it like so easily from like a wallet like Kepler or Lip Wallet.
Yeah, it's pretty much out of the box, right? Isn't it? It's yeah. So going back to governance, though, now that we kind of like understand that you mostly are in Cosmos, and of course, I guess that a lot of your focus because of that. I mean, if you're running your nodes, is probably here. I'm curious. We had recently a very controversial proposal. There's been a lot of them. We like them. No controversy. I always say it's not drama, it's communication. That's my, when people talk about drama, I always say it's not drama, it's communication. Proposal 848. I'm curious, what's your opinion on the inflation? And of course, a lot of validators woke up to losing 20 to 30% of their revenue in one day, and nobody's speaking about that. So I'm curious, what's your opinion on that?
So my personal opinion was like abstain or no, because I don't see any value on both sides. Reducing the inflation or keeping it like that will not change anything from my point of view. So yeah, in terms of like decision personally, for me, it was mostly an abstain. But on the Imperator side, we had to decide carefully, because of course the community is divided. We had like ton of discussion with delegators and people via our group chat or in DM, and we saw a lot of people divided between yes and no. So what we've decided at the end is like we did a weighted vote. So we looked at all our delegators, looked at more like percent people voted yes and how much voted for no, and we just divided all the votes based on our delegators' choice. And we think it was the best choice to adopt, to keep the community, just to be simply transparent. And I think it was the best decision for delegators, just to respect their decisions.
I think we did once a weighted vote on about a year ago or so on something, but in general, I mean, you said your personal opinion is like more no or abstain. Why is your personal? I mean, and again, my personal better opinion, I voted no. So, but I'm curious, why is your personal opinion a no or abstain?
Sure. So the main reason for the yes voters was to say that if we reduce the inflation, people will tend to use other DeFi products or on Cosmos, and I'm not totally okay with that because we don't necessarily have a top tier DeFi product on Cosmos ecosystem. We have some that are interesting, but those are not products that are well um, how can I say, that are not well um, advertised. So it means that if you want people to stop delegating and use other project, you have to brand it. You have to make aware of it to the community. That is not the current case. So I was expecting that people were just going to undelegate and go elsewhere, because the only interesting part for Cosmos at this moment was the staking APR. What about you, by the way? I just want to about your
No
no.
problem. No problem. My no is, well, one, it's based on a couple of things. One, there is absolutely no correlation between the inflation and the price. There is zero correlation. There has been
Totally.
many charts there, and especially if you're in, doesn't matter if you're in crypto or if you're in finance, it doesn't really work like that. When you're an established country, those tools, those mechanisms, lowering inflation, making inflation higher, other monetary tools and Web3 don't exactly work as they work in the real money world, so to speak. When I say real, I don't mean to disregard this. Actually, the opposite. I've been in this for a while, and to see. I mean, Atom is already has an established, in my opinion, what people miss out. Also, in my opinion, is established its price proposition, and the price has already proven it for a long time. And doing this to a very young chain can have very, and I've seen this happen for over the past 10 years several times, can have very bad effects. So hopefully, though, I think that we are because we are a validator there, and I think that Atom Cosmos Hub is quite a strong project, and I'm pretty sure that it will not have the opposite effect but what people were expecting. I'm hoping that the market actually will, because if the market wasn't going to twist, it would have had the opposite effect. The price would have slowly started go down, and it would have lost price, and people would be like all shouting, "Oh my God, why is it happening?" What's going to happen is that the market is enough to reverse that, and it doesn't matter what little twitches you're going to be doing on your ecosystem, because right now Cosmos, in comparison to the market, is a little tiny needle. The market is going to go up. It doesn't matter what the inflation is going to be. The price will be driven up by the market, and that's going to save it. And I think that's a good reason. Still, I voted no, and the reason for that is because it has no correlation. It's silly, in my opinion.
Got it.
But personal opinion, of course. What about, we haven't spoken at all about because when I go on your website, you have ventures, you have other things. You already spoke about bringing information, infrastructure. Those are a lot of things that you guys do. Do you want to talk a little bit? Maybe I missed something else. Maybe there are other projects that you're building or doing. Feel free.
Yeah, we can talk about the venture side, where we love to invest on promising project that could bring value to the ecosystem in general. But in terms of product that we have built, it's like right now we are managing the backend, the data backend of Osmosis. So currently indexing all of the data, restituting it to the front end application, to the info Osmosis website. Since the team has a data engineering data scientist backend, we worked with Osmosis on making this. So right now, a lot of institutions are using this data, the main application, the community, or even people that are interested with data can consume it and see insightful data and just use it as they want.
Actually, with regards to that, I don't remember who was it from your team. Was it you or was it somebody else? I was speaking on Discord. I was annoying with some questions about RPC nodes and archive nodes, and I'm not sure if it was you or was it somebody else on Discord. About a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I think it was probably me.
I think it was
Oh
you.
yeah, it was
It
me.
was
Yeah,
me.
exactly
I think it
on
was you.
Telegram. Yeah.
I think it was you. I was annoying because, yeah, with the tool we're building in the background, we're still like, we're not new to development, but the guys that are currently on my team are new to development. They're pure DevOps guys, and for them it's a lot of new things. So, but it's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I got it. Because it's hard to understand what's happening on the RPC side, on the data side. It's like kind of tricky if you're new to this technical ecosystem. Yeah.
But I think we are slowly building, and hopefully we can release something. Not gonna say dates, because when you say dates, it always happens months and months after. So
Yeah, never do that. It gives
yeah.
like stress and never do that.
Man, what about one more topic that I missed out on, that I haven't spoken to you, that actually you, in my opinion, out of a lot of teams, again, I'm an onlooker when I judge that, but I have my personal judgment, so I'm going to do it. And then I think you've done a good job in it in comparison to a lot of teams. Community building. Community building is a very flipping, tricky topic when it comes to validators and Web3. What's your secret? What do you do? I mean, you said you keep people informed, but let's talk a bit more, maybe a little bit more in detail, if you can.
Sure, but what do you mean? What's the question exactly?
Sorry, my bad. So I found it that, I went to Validator school a couple of times to give some talks, and like I said, I've been doing witness nodes for many years, then master nodes, and essentially, validator nodes. What I have found is one of the most difficult things is attracting people to become not necessarily just delegators, but followers of your validator's work, slowly building that community, outside of just saying, hey, I have the foundation delegating to me, and this is my community, in quotations, of course, here. So when I say that, I mean, getting retail, a big retail, like, well, what's your go-to market kind of thing with, having a lot of delegators to Imperator on the smaller delegators. I mean, when I say that here.
I will be totally transparent, and maybe you will not trust me, but it's like all based in luck. You have to be at the right place at the right time. It just kind of a luck. For sure, you can build community tool that will attract delegators, retail delegators, etc. But you have to do it on the right way, in the right moment. We like I'm feeling lucky on this side because we started doing the community contribution starting from Osmosis. It was like 2 years ago when we started with the info Osmosis website, and at this time no entities in the Cosmos ecosystem were doing that. So we did not have any data stuff or analytics on the Cosmos ecosystem at this time, and we were the first. So when you're doing something first, you bring a lot of attention. I remember at this time everyone was talking about us, like look at the info website from Imperator, some lot of tweets and engagement on Twitter that helped us a lot on this, to bring awareness and having community behind us, following us, and just delegating in general. So just total luck and timing conditions.
You'd be surprised. I have luck references on at least 4 of tattoos on my body. So I'm totally trusting you on that, because I think luck is one of the biggest players in our lives. It's not that luck cannot be created or helped, but luck is a big player in life, I think. So I'm with you.
Yeah, and in any case, you have to try. If you do not try, you will not see any luck or any results. You have to try whatever you have in your skill set. Just try. This is the main advice I can tell to everyone. Just try.
While we're on that note, it's a good one to go to the blitz. I have a small new blitz. This one is going to be from 5 questions. It's all about 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Our blitz has changed many times, so you don't actually have to answer very quickly. I call it a blitz, but it's more of a name. So, what was the first token you ever purchased? Don't say Bitcoin. Come on.
No. I can't even remember, because we used to invest on shitcoins with a group of friends. It's impossible for me to tell which one it was. Impossible.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean, because Defcoin is one that's calling out now from 2013 or 14, 12 or whatever. I remember a lot of them, man. Give me one person that is an dead or alive. It doesn't matter. It could be real, or it could be a cartoon character. It doesn't have to be a real person. That inspires you, not your idol. I'm not talking about idolship here, but somebody that, is an inspiration for you. Could be family, could be a cartoon character, could be a book character, could be a developer.
I think it's my big brother from my childhood. He's like 9 years old, bigger than me, and people used to compare me to my brother, saying, "Look, he's doing that. He's like engineer. He's doing this stuff. He's like doing investment, etc." And I used to compare myself to him, and had a lot of admiration on him, and wanted to be as him, basically. From my family.
I like it. I like it a lot when people do family references. Not many people, but you'd be surprised. Out of the hundreds of people I speak to, not many people go here to family references. What about one motivational thing that keeps Dilan, that you would like to share with others, that keeps Dilan waking up every day and getting on with his business, keeping on building, keeping on trading, keeping people informed, and so on and so forth? What is the one motivational thing?
The freedom, definitely, because I like wake up at the time I want, traveling and working from places that I want, just the freedom.
Okay. 2 more, almost done. One book or one film that comes to your mind right now. Give me one.
Interstellar first. Directly.
Nice. That was good. I like that. Bam. Okay, last question. Give me, and this doesn't have to be crypto. I always say that it does not have to be a crypto token. Give me one project, technology. It could be Cybertruck. You could say Tesla. That's something that arouses in you technological curiosity. Arouses in you like, oh my god, that's really cool. I really want to understand how. It could be a project. Could be Monero. Could be Tesla. I don't care, but something.
I think it's like the current narrative is AI. It's so impressive how everything's changed in our life in less than maybe 1 year. I guess ChatGPT launched something like 1 year ago, and I'm seeing that difference between the launch time, the before and after the launch time. I feel like we entered into a new world. Everything's so different starting from now, and I would really like to understand what's happening behind this. Behind what we are seeing right now, because I imagine that we can see crazier stuff.
Nice. I'm with you, man. I think we're gonna see. I think what we are seeing in 10 years' time, we will surely not be able to recognize the world that we live in today. It's gonna be very different.
Less than 10 years, man. We used to say that everything is changing fast, but with AI. No words for this.
It's a funny concept, the future, right? People sometimes talk about the future as it's somewhere there, but the future is the next second. That is the future. It doesn't one day you don't wake up and things fly. It happens gradually. It's like people forget about that. The future is here. It's just about, Yeah.
Exactly. Just open your eyes and see
Yes.
what's happening around you.
Yes. Man, Dylan, this has been a pleasure. I always love finding out that there are real people behind teams, and I'm very glad that this is the case with you as well.
Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was very awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody for joining in, and Dylan, please don't hang up yet. But okay, thank you. Bye. This content was created by the Citizen Cosmos Validator. If you enjoyed it, please support us by delegating to Citizen Cosmos and help us to create more educational content.